All right. Grace, mercy, and peace from him who is and was and is to come very soon, I'm certain. This is Rogue Diabetic, and welcome to the digital wilderness. All right, you guys. So I did a video for you yesterday, but something's wrong with my computer, and I'm having a hard time with my for some reason my microphone isn't working. So, and it was a video for BitChute or Rumble, but the sound didn't come through. So I basically got to delete it and maybe do it over again. But it was about the you know what, so I can't I can't put it up on um YouTube. And since the sound went bad on it, I can't put it up on BitChute either. So, but it was about the you know what. So today, what I thought I would do, I've seen some stuff here in the last few weeks or so that's kind of made me be curious about how they're going to bring this all together. Okay, and where is this exactly heading? Because I mean, if you look at what's going what's going on up in Canada, and people are putting up videos about that on YouTube. And I guess I guess you can be against mandates. So, but if you go any farther than that, then they'll take your videos down. You can only be against mandates for certain reasons. Not for the real reasons why you should be against the mandates. And the last video that I did was about some of the real reasons you should be against not only the mandates, but what's being mandated altogether. And, you know, I've been watching some of the stuff that's been going on up there, and I'm kind of curious, you know, because it seems like they're letting people think that that what's going on up there is going to be effective at making some sort of change. And one of the things that I noticed here on Twitter is apparently there's some controlled op tweeter tweeted something about this Pierre Poilievre. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's Poilievre. Poila. Pierre Poila. And apparently he's gonna try to become the Prime Minister of Canada. And I never really understood how that worked. Okay, because in a parliamentary system, the guy that becomes the chief executive, they have a weak chief executive, relative to say a constitutional system like the United States. And the chief executive is like a member of parliament. So I don't know how you even run for parliament. Well, how you even you run for member of parliament, and then to me it's then after that, everybody gets together and they decide everybody in parliament gets together and decides who's gonna be the premier or whatever it is that they call it. I don't even know what they call it. So, Prime Minister. They call it the Prime Minister. I think premiers are the heads of the Canadian provinces. Kind of akin to what our governors are. And I don't even know if the heads of the provinces, the head of the executive branch of the provinces are directly elected by the people. In the United States, the chief executive is directly elected by the people. Allegedly. I mean, that's theoretically, that's the theory. Okay, but we all know that elections they're not even real. They're fake. It doesn't matter where, Canada and the United States. All this election stuff is fake anyway. But so there's like so and then there's like the truckers haven't gone home yet, and apparently Trudeau declared a state of emergency up in Canada. And hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So now I don't even remember what I was talking about. So so the truckers won't go home, and apparently Trudeau is declared a state of emergency, right? Because they won't go home, and they got all their supposedly all their trucks parked in the street and stuff, and it's jamming things up. Now, if Trudeau, I mean, if any of this were approximating anything even close to real, then Trudeau would just back down on the mandates. Okay. But more than likely what's going to happen is that there's going to be like apparently in parliamentary systems like in Canada and the United Kingdom, there isn't even like set the elections aren't like even set every so many years. It's like they get together, and they form a government, and then finally after so many years the government falls apart. And if you and once there's enough once there's enough people that are mad at the whoever the prime minister is or the whoever the ruling party, once that coalition falls apart, once they can get enough members together to call for elections, that's when they hold elections. And I actually think if I remember correctly, like in the UK or Great Britain, that has to happen every 5 years. At least they do have to have elections every 5 years, but they can have them every year. I know in Israel they had like 2 years, right? Where exactly they're going with this, I don't know. But I came across an interesting article, and this is what I actually wanted to talk to you guys about today, because this is how I think. I mean, if you would have spun a scenario out like this to me 10 years ago, 15 years ago for sure, 15 or 20 years ago for sure, if you would have spun out any sort of hypothetical scenario like this, I would have said possible, but highly unlikely. So anyway, this is so I found this Newsweek article, and I actually there have been people floating this hypothesis. This isn't the first time this has been floated. This isn't the first time that Newsweek has floated this. Okay, but anyway, the headline of this particular Newsweek article is Vernon Jones says he'll impeach Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on day one if elected. Now, that's like a bad headline, a poorly written headline. Okay, for one thing. And I realize it should be, okay, so this is what it should be. It should be Vernon Jones says he'll introduce or propose articles of impeachment against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris if elected. And you don't even have to have if elected in there. And it doesn't matter what day he does it on. Of course he would do it on day one. But I mean, that's a detail that you could point out in the body of the article to make the headline like just read better and more accurate. So anyway, Republican congressional candidate Vernon Jones, and he's a black guy, okay, it's a brother, has said he will introduce articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris on his first day in Congress if he's elected. Okay, so yeah, Vernon Jones, if elected, doesn't impeach the president by himself. That isn't how it works. Okay, you need a simple majority to impeach a sitting president or a sitting vice president. A simple majority of the members of the House of Representatives. Then, in order for this to actually be removed, for the president or the vice president or whoever's being impeached, in order for them to actually be removed, the vice president or the Senate has to convict them of whatever charges they're impeached on. So impeachment is basically an indictment. Is akin to an indictment. Okay, so they impeached Donald Trump twice, but in neither impeachment were they able to remove him because you need 67. You need a 2/3 majority, and 66 out of 100 isn't 2/3. Not quite, but 67 is. So you need 67 votes to impeach, basically, in the Congress. Okay, because there's 50 senators and 2 senators per. It's always 60. I mean, there's always it just happens to be that there's 50 senators, or there's 50 states and 2 senators from each state. So, and even 100 senators, which makes 66. Roughly 2/3, but 67 is actually the 2/3. And when you round up 66.6%, I mean 66.6%, when you round it up, it's 67. So it's just funny how that number it just keeps popping up. And if you the first time that this theory was spun out, it was that I heard it was done on the whatchamajiggy Wayne Allen Root show, and Wayne Allen Root is this ZOJ, okay, that's a Trump supporter, and he had Trump on, and if you listen to the whole podcast, it's just the numerology is everywhere, 3.5 this, 3.5 that. 66 this, 66 that, 33, 30, all of it. There's just all these and some of it's in the commercials. So, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so anyway, the first time that this got spun out, it was spun out by Wayne Allen Root. The Trump, and the way he spun it out, it was like that Trump would run for Congress, right? And then Trump would get elected as Speaker of the House, and then Trump, presides over the impeachment proceedings. And the funny thing about that is you can, and later on in this article, it says that, and so that's what they're angling at here. Now, this is in Newsweek. Okay, so this is mainstream. This is supposed to be a reliable source. Like the New York Times or Time Magazine or, this isn't I'm reading to you from a Newsweek article. I'm not speaking out of my own mind. Okay, this isn't something that I came up with. Okay, and I'm not a Trump supporter. Not anymore, I'm not. I haven't been for a couple years now. Almost 3 years now. So, in the article, Trump ends up endorsing this Jones character. Trump endorsed Jones in his House race in a video posted to Rumble on Wednesday. So Rumble's kind of like where is like this platform where, and I actually have a channel on Rumble. It's Rogue Diabetic, and Rumble is like this channel that doesn't censor like YouTube does. YouTube censors. Okay. So Trump endorsed Jones in his race in a video posted to Rumble on Wednesday. He's an America First fighter who will never back down to the establishment or the radical left, Trump said of Jones. Okay, Jones proud to have Trump's endorsement. And there's this one paragraph that I'm looking for. But anyway, this Jones character is if he gets elected, he's going to introduce articles of impeachment against Joe and Kamala. Then he's going to vote for Trump for Speaker of the House. Now, I mean, the thing is like until recently, I didn't even like. Apparently, you don't have to be a member of Congress. So Trump doesn't, even though Trump still has like, I think until like June to actually, get on the ballot in some congressional district. Trump doesn't even have to be a incumbent member of the Speaker of the House to be elected to be Speaker of the House. So if you had, all you need is a bare majority, and to get elected, to impeach the president or the vice president, and to get elected. Now, I mean, still, even at that, this would have been like I say, 10 or 15 years ago. This would have been so far fetched to me. I would have been like, yeah, that's. I mean, it's theoretically it's possible, but it's not going to happen. Okay, and even if it did happen, you're not going to get a 2/3 majority. You're not going to get enough votes in order to convict both Joe Biden and Harris, and hence remove them from office. So, but anyway, I don't know anymore. Tell me what you think in the comments section. If you actually think this is plausible now, in the insano wacko world that we live in today. I mean, like I say, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have said this is absolutely absurd. There's no way that this could even if it was even if it was theoretically a Republican that was going to get rid of a Democrat, and a Democrat that I hated, and a Republican and install a Republican that I loved, I would have been like, you're being dummies. You're wasting your time and you're being dummies. This isn't going to happen. But I don't know anymore. But how are they going to get 60? How are they going to get enough votes to remove? I mean, they can do whatever they want with the election. And at this point, everybody's so dumb. Everybody out there has been so dumbed down by the fluoride and everything else that they're dumbing people down with. And everything's gotten so totally run off the rails over the past 4 years, and especially over the past 2.5. I mean, basically since September 23rd, 2017, everything is just gotten exponentially dumber. And it's like and since March 13th, 2020, it's like people are under a spell or something. So I don't know. One way what I was thinking about was one way that this is possible. And I don't know if this is how they're going to do it. Well, one thing, this could be like some sort of sleight of hand too. This could be just something to get all the QAnon dummies masturbating again. Right, but if they're actually going to pull this off, if for some reason a bunch of Democrats walked out, right? Say there was a Republican majority. Say the Republicans picked up 10 seats, something incredibly stupid. Say they won in a slide of land and they picked up 5 to 10 Senate seats and they had a clear, strong majority. And enough Democrats showed up so that they have to have quorum, but they don't need 67. Okay, if only 90 show up, they would only need 61. If there's only 90 votes cast. Okay, if only 80 show up, You're talking about 20, 40, 60, 80, 20, 40. Yeah, like 50. You'd need like between 55. You'd only need 50 between 55 and 60 to get the 2/3 majority that you would need. So I don't know. Is that the way they're gonna roll with this? I don't know. It's possible. I mean, 10 years ago, if I would have told 10 years ago me that this was the way this was gonna roll out, I would have been like, "You're retarded." There's no way. There's no way that anything that crazy could happen. But the fact that it's not only being pushed by surrogates of the former president, the fact that it's getting traction in mainstream news in Newsweek, and it's not being mocked or ridiculed, is makes it to me like. And the fact is like time is running out. They don't have very much time left. And if Trump is the Antichrist, there's got to be some way for them to get him back in power. So I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Jesus. Okay, Donald Trump is not going to save America. Okay, that's not even his job. His job is to destroy this place. Okay, his job is to. If you read Revelation 17 and 18, his job is to make everybody hate us so much, all the other countries in the world, to despise us so much that they end up attacking us, and then he just like throws his hands up, and then he just like steps aside while the rest of the world destroys us. And whether it be a nuclear attack or something spectacular. Anyway, I love you guys. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out.